Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup, Martin. A pleasure to be with all of you here tonight, distinguished guests. A special mention to my colleagues that are here with our clients, BDC, and our very own Mathieu Serré, who leads BDC in BC, that we like to say, the best coast of Canada. It is, be my guest. And Martin, I will remember the day that you called me, and I think that you were with Wendy thinking about who could be the keynote speaker. I have to say that I did not know anything about GABC. I had to read and learn. I was very much impressed, and I hope that I said yes quick enough and to be the speaker tonight. It's a real honor. This is an exceptional event with an exceptional audience. Rarely we have in the same room so many high achievers from so many generations. For a speaker, this feels like almost a dream until you realize that it is almost a nightmare. I mean, here I am in front of so many distinguished guests and past laureates, and then squeezed between four young, inspiring students, Isabelle, Kel, Zeus, and Chloe, full of energy and wit, and this year's laureates, each with greatly inspiring entrepreneurial journeys. What am I gonna share with you that you don't know already? So, I was pondering this question when I got the idea to share with you my first encounter as Canadian ambassador with the French President Emmanuel Macron. For someone coming from the business world, discovering diplomacy can feel at times like you are discovering a parallel universe, especially in Paris. The French take great pride in their diplomatic traditions and fine mastery of all its details, especially its protocol and rituals. One such tradition is for the new ambassador to present their credentials to the head of state where they are appointed. Indeed, you are not considered the legitimate representative of your country in France until the president receives and reviews your credentials. The ceremony is as formal as it can be. It takes place at l'Élysée, the French presidential palace. It unfolds following a very detailed scenario. You have specific lines you are supposed to say. There's an X on the floor indicating where you are supposed to stand. And from the moment you come into the building, or should I say the palace, until the moment you exit, there's a script telling you what to do. The French chief of protocol came to my office, briefed me, and even forced me into a rehearsal. There are over 160 countries represented in Paris. So every year, at least a couple of dozen of new ambassadors need to have their moment with le Président de la République, who happens to be, you're not going to be surprised, a very busy man. So here we are, December 21st, 2017, a group of 21 ambassadors from all over the world gathered at l'Élysée, waiting for our turn to hand in our official papers. My guess was that President Macron had more pressing things to do than to listen 21 times the same lines told the same way, especially that he was turning 40 that same day. My turn comes. I'm number 19. I enter the room and start walking towards the X in front of President Macron. I'm about 30 steps away. After a couple of steps, I take the vastness of the room, a little bit like tonight, I have to say. It truly feels surreal. I take a few more steps, and then I decide to give the chief of protocol a heart attack. So here I go. I say, Monsieur le Président, I want to wish you a very happy birthday and welcome you to the best decade of your life. And I can tell you this, Mr. President, because not long ago, this decade was taken away from me, and I still miss it. And to say the least, that was not part of the script, and the chief of protocol survived, I have to say. Fortunately, there was no diplomatic incident. In fact, President Macron's discreet smile gave me the impression that he enjoyed somewhat the change of tone. One thing is sure, after my 4 years in Paris, relations between the embassy and the French government were excellent. There was many reasons for that, starting with the personal connection between Prime Minister Trudeau and President Macron. But I like to think that my sudden disregard for diplomatic traditions helped set the tone for our relationship. Between us, there was room to be authentic, sincere, and direct. And that is a great way to build trust. In a world of standards, processes, and compliance, I think that the art of going off script sometimes tends to be forgotten. So I want to take this opportunity to sing its praise. Of all the quality and talent entrepreneurs have, their ability to write their own story is one that stands out. I sincerely admire entrepreneurs' determination to create their own path, your own story. Their preference for a blank page over a manual of instructions, and their refusal to follow a script others may want to impose on them, even, Martin, when that person is their banker. For the younger ones in the room, I hope I can convince and inspire you to do the same. Becoming a leader is filled with moments when you need to go off script. Moments you need to come up with a story of your own. This is not a skill that school is always good at developing. As a learning environment, school typically operates on the basis that there's an answer to all questions. As a student, you learn that answer and you are rewarded for remembering it. This works great to stimulate acquisition of knowledge, but over time, you need to be aware that the real world does not always work like that. There is not always a right answer. In the business world, 99% of the problems you have to deal with do not have an objective, proven solution that you can find in a book. Every judgment call involves some risks, and the best solutions you can find are not the ones you know, but the ones you figure out. To me, this underlines the relevance of the work done by Junior Achievement. By giving access to real-life experience and concrete entrepreneurial stories, GABC empowers students to take initiative, embrace risk, and think creatively. It teaches them skills that are just as essential in business as they are in life. Skills that are relevant when it is time to go off script. As I said, going off script is an art. It can work beautifully, and it can go awfully wrong. In my view, there are three qualities that can make a major difference between ad-libbing your way to success and making everyone around you uncomfortable. The first one is curiosity. Listening and understanding the environment around you is critical. It is not simply about knowing, it's also a question of feeling. It's about capturing tools and moods and emotions as much as facts and information. Being curious about others will lead you to seek exposure. Different people will seek exposure to different people and different point of views. There's enormous value in exposing yourself to your exact opposite. It will lead you to capture what they think and feel, and not only what they say and what gets relayed to you. And your judgment will be better informed as a result. When I joined Sun Life in 2010, with no prior experience in the financial sector, actuaries were as remote from me as you would think. But still, I made deliberate efforts at connecting with them and understanding their world and reality. I learned a great deal from them and they became my best friends. So you know, I've never heard an actuary say the same thing about me. The second quality when going off script is sincerity. I was profoundly sincere wishing President Macron happy birthday. I meant every word I told him about the privilege of being 40. Breaking conventions in a way that seems opportunistic or self-serving will not be treated the same way as something that truly feels authentic. We often say there is value in trusting your instincts. I say this is especially true by connecting with your instinct. You are, in fact, being profoundly sincere with others. That said, sincerity is not always fun. When providing feedback and leading people, being transparent and sincere implies not shying away from hard conversations. It is even more true when you have to let go someone. The third quality is also quite important in such situations, and it is courage. It is important to appreciate and recognize that it is uncomfortable not to follow the script. Scripts are reassuring. They protect you from making obvious mistakes. They minimize your exposure to risks. When you go off script, you always end up venturing outside a comfort zone. And that is always a courageous thing to do. After 4 years as ambassador, I was very fortunate to take the lead of the Business Development Bank of Canada. I was fortunate because BDC's mission to empower entrepreneurs is perfectly aligned to my own values. And I was privileged to inherit a team and an organization that was delivering great and consistent results. There was nothing broken, nothing to fix. There was almost a legitimate script of continuity ready for me. And yet, I was so impressed with the bank that I thought and dreamed we could do more. Here again, I had this urge to change the script, to challenge ourselves to dream bigger, and to extend our support to a greater number of entrepreneurs across Canada. It took a lot of courage to embrace, collectively, a whole new level of ambition and accept the challenge to do more. 4 years later, I stand in front of you very proud, and not only for our results, but also of the courage the team deployed in achieving them. Like it or not, we are in an unprecedented era. Never in my lifetime did I expect our country to be subjected to direct aggression from our closest ally. It's not something we planned for. There is no textbook, no instruction manual we can rely on to find the right answer to this problem. We need to figure it out. We are definitely in an off-script territory. As we face this challenge, I hope we cultivate collectively the qualities that make for success off-script adventures: curiosity, sincerity, and courage. I know these are common among the entrepreneurs we work with. I hope, students, you can embrace them and make them yours. Again, it was a privilege, and it is a privilege to be with all of you tonight. Once again, I want to thank JABC. Wendy, kudos to you and to your leadership, and thank you again for this invitation. Thank you very much.